Kurzgesagt. How to build a Dyson Sphere, the ultimate mega structure. All right, let's see.
Human history is told by the energy we use. At first, we had to use our muscles, then we learned to control fire.
Now we have to use our brains for the internet, so we could get a lot of money.
We industrialized the world using coal and oil, and entered the atomic age when we learned how to split a nucleus. At each step, we increased our energy harvest to a scale never seen before and advanced as a species. Currently, we're slowly transitioning to renewables, and if we're lucky, fusion energy will become viable in the future.
Fusion energy is a proposed form of clean energy generation, okay? And you have to heat up deuterium and tritium, and the atoms collide and it's helium, like the balloons. That's just background knowledge for you. Hot tub stream when, yo! Hell yeah, I would love to do a hot tub stream.
As humanity
Cold
progresses
fusion though?
further,
I don't know what that is.
If we don't destroy ourselves or our habitat, we will likely gain complete control of our planet's resources. At that stage, we'll probably begin to look outwards.
We're already looking outwards for new places to expand into.
Space is hard, and establishing a
You know what else is hard? I don't know.
serious human presence in the solar system will require ungodly amounts of energy. Luckily, we know where to find it.
The sun.
The sun.
The ultimate source of energy, of course.
A furnace 100
quintillion times more powerful than our most efficient nuclear reactor. That's actually obvious.
Of 1 trillion nuclear bombs per second.
Jesus.
So how do we get this energy? Not some of it, all of it.
Wait, if you get all of the energy, won't there be no energy left?
If we want to collect the most energy physically possible, we'll have to build the largest, most ambitious structure in the universe.
Wait, so is the lesson here that we just put like circles and close up different things in space and then we get its energy? Because we figured this out with the black hole video the other week.
The Dyson Sphere, a megastructure that encompasses a whole star to capture its power output. For an intelligent species, building a Dyson Sphere is a technological leap on par with the discovery of fire for our ancestors. The transition from a planetary species,
I mean, that's probably harder than fire, bro,
to an interstellar species. It would usher in an age of exploration and expansion on a scale we can barely imagine.
I paused it with my chopstick.
A solid shell enveloping the sun is probably not the way to go. A large, rigid body like that would be vulnerable to impacts, possibly shattering. It would be liable to drift and could crash straight into the sun. A more viable design for a Dyson Sphere might be a Dyson Swarm.
Dyson sounds like a company where you get like wipes to clean your house with. What is this?
Almost set of orbiting panels that collect the sun's power and beam it elsewhere. The sun is very big, so we need a lot of satellites.
I thought it was small.
If each satellite is a square kilometer, we'd need around 30 quadrillion to surround the sun.
What the hell?
Even if they're built as lightly as possible, we need about 100 quintillion tons of material. And then we need the energy to actually put the parts together and deliver them to their positions around the sun. On top of all that, we need to have a permanent infrastructure set up in space to start building. Let's assume, for the purposes of this video, that our descendants will
This is so complex
and want to create the megastructure. Of the planets
available,
Mercury is the best candidate. It's the closest to the sun and very metal-rich.
Huh?
Close to the sun also means less moving stuff around.
You're gonna disassemble a planet?
And only about a third of the surface gravity of Earth, making it comparatively easy to launch material into space. Next, we should consider the design of our swarm. Simpler is better. Conventional solar panels are far too intricate and short-lived. Our satellites need to operate without repairs or intervention for astronomically long times, and they need to be cheap to produce.
Bro,
they're most
it's not gonna happen.
To be enormous mirrors, which refocus sunlight to central collecting stations, like in concentrated solar power on Earth.
It seems like mirrors just solve every issue in life. Like when you think you're too fat, you get one of those skinny mirrors, and then you realize you're not. I don't know.
To build and launch them efficiently, they must be incredibly light, made of little more than polished metal foil bound to some supports. And last, we need the energy to build and launch the swarm itself. Taking apart a planet and launching things into space requires an enormous amount of energy. For example, if we used all the fossil fuels and uranium on Earth and we were perfectly efficient, we could only launch as much mass as Mount Everest into space. A rather meager accomplishment compared to planetary disassembly. To get the
I mean, you just get energy from the sun. To build the thing to get energy from the sun. Watch, they're gonna say that.
energy needed to build a Dyson Sphere, it's almost as if you're going to need the power output of a Dyson Sphere.
That's what I just said!
That's okay. There's plenty of sunlight to be
Oh,
had
I'm so
locally,
smart.
let's get to
IQ
work.
plus, let's
Humans
go.
are expensive to keep alive and are very sensitive to the environment, so we'd want to automate as much as possible. Ideally, we'd have a small crew of controllers who oversee an army of autonomous machines doing the actual work. There are 4 major pieces of technology required. Solar collectors.
Well, let me guess. Solar collectors, miners, refiners, and launch equipment.
Miners, refiners, and launch equipment.
Bro.
The solar collectors they'll provide the energy to run our miners, which strip mine the surface of the planet.
Strip mine?
Refiners,
Whoa, the miners shouldn't strip. You see, this is where I disagree. This is where things become political, okay? Kurzgesagt, I don't agree with this video. This is messed up.
which extract valuable elements and fabricate them into our swarm satellites. To get them into space, we need a creative and efficient solution. Rockets are too expensive and difficult to deorbit and reuse. Instead, we'll want to use a sort of railgun, a long electromagnetic track which launches our satellite.
I thought he meant an actual gun. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what's going on at this point.
At high speeds. Our swarm satellites would be packed tight for launch, unfurling like an enormous origami once in orbit.
Oh, they're gonna send it like in a like a roller coaster from Mercury to the sun? What the hell?
If a square kilometer of solar collectors takes a month to build, we could be done in a decade.
Jesus.
If only our infrastructure on the planet's surface can keep up with the quickly growing budget of energy. Even collecting 1% of the sun's energy is an unbelievable change.
How much
in our
percent of the
species'
sun's energy
budget.
do we get? How much percent of sun's energy do we use? What percent of the sun's energy actually ends up on Earth? Don't give me the math, just give me the number. Earth gets about 0.0000287% of the total energy of the sun falling on it.
Terraforming
planets,
constructing more
megastructures, or even traveling to other stars.
It could be the start of an interstellar civilization.
That's
Based
insane,
on physics
bro.
alone, this is not just possible, but easy.
Oh yeah,
such a
it's
simple
easy.
process and such a necessary step for any species.
If it's easy,
to
why aren't we
expand
doing
beyond
it?
Their home planet, that many astronomers think there are probably Dyson spheres already out there in the Milky Way. We haven't spotted any yet, but they could be there. It's far from certain that humanity will ever get to this point. Our attention is too often focused on short-term political gains and conflicts that will not matter in the long run.
Well, some conflicts matter in the long run, like World War II, but, you know.
But if we survive the challenges we've set ourselves, we could potentially become the first species in the universe to create a structure with the scope of a star. If we do it,
Jesus.
the only limitation left will be our own imagination.
Because we're growing exponentially, it's pretty fascinating. Like, by the time me and you guys, Chad, and all the thousands of viewers watching this YouTube video, if this becomes one, like becomes, 60, 70 years old, unless you already are, in which case, GG. We're gonna see a lot of crazy, cool stuff happen. Right now, people, NASA and Elon Musk and whatever, they're trying to figure out ways to go to, like, the moon and Mars and stuff. This video is talking about going to Mercury, bruh. That's very far.
Like,
comment,
and subscribe.
Is that Joe Biden kissing an anime
Guardian
character?
Spice is a Crunchyroll original anime that was made with a 100% female
I don't
writing room.
see Joe Biden kissing. I don't want to watch it.